Handful of you guys asked me, hey, what pins do you use when you're grappling with a text? So this is not a Bible study. If you're interested in grappling, by the way, I'll put a link there. That's how to read the Bible. But this is a review of the LAMY Safari pen and the Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen. Let's take a look. Enough of you guys have asked me about my equipment that I'm doing a review of these two pins, the LAMY Safari and the Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen. It's really both very nice pieces of equipment. But first, the LAMY Safari. When we were in Germany a couple of years ago for the anniversary of the Reformation, I kept seeing this pin all over. We went to the LAMY store in Heidelberg, the store in the nice store in downtown Berlin where they got all these stores. I'm looking, oh, here's this pin, and it's staring me down. And I'm thinking about moving back into fountain pens. I'm not quite sure. Finally, I pulled the trigger for like 22 euros at the Frankfurt airport and got this guy, and was very, very pleased. It comes in all different colors, but this is like a kind of a graphite color. It's a dark, dark brown. It looks almost black. And it has the classic LAMY Safari clip that's there. People recognize it when it's in your pocket. Hey, is that a Safari? And then you have a little pin nerd convention right there on the spot. And there's a couple of other nice features about this pin. It has this window there that tells you how much ink is left in it, so you can see what's going on. And then it's contoured so that it puts your hand in your fingers in the right space, like German style, you know. You must hold the pin this way, which I kind of like because I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to hold it. So that gives you the right angle for the nib. Now, this pin, it's a great value. It's pretty, I mean, it's plastic, but it's a heavy kind of plastic. You can buy it with any sort of different nib, but here's a couple of things. It comes with a ink cartridge that is the disposable ink cartridge. So this guy is you got to pay $6 or $7 to get the pump, but that is worth it. That lets you use your own ink. And then it also has, you can buy the various size nibs. So I got this case, like, because I want the extra fine nib, and it comes, I think, with medium or with fine. There's a bold nib, and these nibs are replaceable. So you just take this guy off, take off your extra fine nib. I don't know if there's a right way to do this, but other than just pulling the thing off. Let me get it. So the nib comes off, and you get a grip on it. Come on off. And then this bold nib would fit right on there, and you're off to the races. I mean, you know, it just cranks through there. Bad example. Let me get a little ink flowing. And so the bold comes right out there, and then you can just, so this is a really sort of nice thing to be able to replace the nibs like that. You can't do that with the Pilot. So there you go. So that's the LAMY. It's a nice pin, and I was set on these. I was losing them all the time. In fact, I lost one of them. I lost one of them in the theater in Philippi, down in the grate where the gladiators would come out for the fights. And I was looking over down in there, and the pin fell out of the pocket, and it fell down there. To document that in the theater in Philippi, my pen went to be down with the gladiators.
You just lost something.
That is the coolest place to lose a pen. Which is why I was looking for a replacement, and I saw an advertisement on Amazon, it must have been, for this guy, the Pilot Metropolitan. Now, I thought, how could this pen be even cheaper than the LAMY one? Because I mean, I think this is like $25 or something like this, and this one was like $12, a fountain pen for $12. So I ordered it. I think I got one with a medium nib, and then got this one with the fine nib, and you'll notice that it's even finer, which I like a lot better. And this one, it comes with a disposable ink cartridge, but then it has this wild sort of Pilot rubber bladder. Can you see that? It's like a pin or a pincher with a rubber bladder in between. So when you want to get the ink out, you squeeze this out, and it must have like some sort of valve in there, and it pulls the ink up like this. Now there's a couple, I think, like weight-wise, I think the Pilot is heavier. It's got a metal case. The cap clips here on the Pilot, whereas the LAMY clips up here. And I don't know exactly why. It must help keep the tip cleaner. And I one time had some trouble with the hardware that's up here, so I had to take this thing apart, but I was able to fix it, no problem. So I think that's probably like a nicer feature that the cap clips there, but I haven't had any problems with leaking on either of these. This one is more affected, the Pilot Metropolitan, by air travel. I think it's because it has that bladder rather than the tube, so some ink will come out if the pin is not facing up when traveling on the airplane. The ink, there's more ink that fits in this one than this one, so I have to refill this one more often, but they both write really well. They both have good ink flow. I found that, in fact, the Pilot is a little smoother when it comes to writing, but it can't take the speed. I think just because it's a finer nib, it can't take the speed that the LAMY can. So the LAMY can write a little bit faster before it starts to skip. The LAMY is better on smoother paper. Again, I don't know, some fancy pen person can tell me what this means, but when I'm on rough paper or on cardstock, the tip of the LAMY will grab the cotton fibers or the paper fibers more than the tip of the Pilot. And this guy, it has a finer tip. I let my friend grab this thing, and he didn't know how to use a fountain pen, and so he put on like 1,000 pounds of pressure, and the nib actually bent over like this. And I had to straighten the thing out, but still it works, no problem. Now you can't replace the nibs on this one, but for 12 bucks you could just get another pin. I mean, it's a fantastic value there, and so I've been giving these away because they look like a fancy, nice fountain pen, but they're almost like the price of a disposable pin, and yet they're not. And yet these guys, I haven't worn them out. I just lost them. Now again, the LAMY has the special LAMY look, but this Pilot thing, I mean, it looks fine. It looks like a pin. You're not going to have a nerd fountain pen convention when you're wearing this guy, but there you go. So there's the Pilot. Again, I think it's like 12, 15 bucks maybe for the extra fine. There's the LAMY. I think it's maybe $25 or something like this, plus 5 for the thing, plus 15 for the extra set of nibs, but that gives you that thing. Both fantastically good pins for the value. I mean, incredible. So if you like fountain pens, but you don't want to be a pin snob, which nobody should be a pin snob, and you want an everyday carry pen, I commend both of these to you. They work great. All right, thanks for your attention. So what's the conclusion? I mean, I don't know. The LAMY has the classic LAMY look. It has a couple of advantages. It has a couple of more features, but this is, I mean, for the price, this is a great, smooth writing pen. So, I mean, I recommend both of these guys. I keep them hanging around, and I go back and forth when they're sitting there, and I say, which one should I grab? Which one should I choose? I mean, it's a toss-up. So there you go. Hope that's helpful. Leave comments below.